want to take a look at the newest OCG metagame report. The reason why I find this one interesting is because this is beyond the Brave release in the OCG. This is the first metagame report we have after Beyond the Brave has released, which of course has brought out some interesting cards into the mix. And I want to see what exactly has changed with the release of these cards. Now, it also mentions the new V-Jump promo Evil Lord Zark. I don't think that card is particularly good. And the limited pack GX Raw Yellow, I have no idea what's in there, but I don't remember any important cards from it, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we'll be proven wrong. Beyond the Brave, though, has a couple of interesting things. First and foremost, this card that it feels like everyone's been talking about, I mean, including myself, I think this card is a very, very interesting card added into the game, which is the new sort of like power-crept Lava Golem. That says if you control no monsters, you can tribute summon this card face up by tributing monsters from your hand and or your opponent's field. So it's just a Lava Golem, but it goes onto your side of the field, and it is a negate for monster effects in hand, grave, or banishment. So really strong board breaker that some decks can play. So let's see if it has any effect on the OCG metagame. Other than that, I don't think any of the new archetypes in Beyond the Brave are completely insane, but there's some good generic stuff in there. Also, one thing I'm afraid of is seeing what the new Ars Magna cards can do, because they make Power Patron combo decks even stronger. And I don't think they should be even stronger, but let's see what's going on in the OCG. And the new breakdown is still Toon the best deck. All right, well, that was to be expected. That deck is incredibly broken and like unbalanced, and was incredibly strong before this set. It was unlikely that anything in this set was really going to change it. But Elf Notes is, if I remember correctly, getting a little bit closer. So I wonder if those are playing the Ars Magna cards. We'll take a look at an example deck list in a second, if they are incorporating the new cards or if the deck was already strong enough without them. As a reminder, in the OCG, Elf Notes is even more disgusting than it is in the TCG because they have Baron the Fleur. So every single combo starts with Baron as like summon number 3 or whatever, and then they do whatever else they want after. So that deck is really strong over there. I think that's also one of the main reasons why Elf Notes in the OCG is by far the best Medius deck. I think in the TCG, you can make an argument that decks like Doom Z or decks like Archmage actually have their individual pros and cons over Elf Note. Because there's no Baron the Fleur, you can say like, okay, well, but Archmage can do this better than Elf Notes, and Doom Z can do this better than Elf Notes. In the OCG, there's no discussion. Elf Note is by far the best one because it has Baron the Fleur. There's essentially no weakness to it compared to the other ones. So yeah, Elf Note's second best deck in the OCG. Light and Darkness Ritual making a return is interesting because that deck is supposed to have a very, very, very bad matchup against Toon. The deck is getting some new cards from Beyond the Brave, but honestly, I think one of the main reasons for this might just be that this is one of the decks that can make use of the new Gallant Thief, because Light and Darkness Ritual does not really need its normal summon. So maybe that's why this deck is creeping back into the metagame, because it's just like a solid deck that can really make good use of that card. Because Toons, for whatever it's worth it, Toons cannot use this card, I don't think, because Toon does need the normal summon. I think they even, I mean, they tried to normal summon multiple times, but still, I think you would want all of those normal summons to go towards your Toon engine. Toon is one of those decks that's vulnerable at interruption onto the normal summon, so yeah. Can Clown Crew use the new guy? Clown Crew can use the new guy, yes, but Clown Crew is also still very underpowered compared to the rest of the pie chart here, so yeah. Cool Tune also not going anywhere. Even on the latest ban list, they got some pretty sizable hits in the OCG, but Cool Tune is still there. Some Branded, some Malice, some Sky Striker, but mainly Toon, Elf Note, Light and Darkness Ritual, and Cool Tune are like the big four. All right, let's take some looks. Toons. Beyond the Brave brought along the world's greatest Gallant Thief and Spatial Trunade. Oh, that's interesting. Right, I forgot about that. Hold up. Spatial Trunade is this card, which is also a phenomenal card. Return up to 2 cards on the field to the hand. Then each player places cards from their hand on the bottom of the deck in any order equal to the number returned to their hand. You can only activate 1 Spatial Trunade per turn. Non-target board breaker, quote unquote, for 2 cards on the field. Honestly, I wish we had more cards like that, dude. I wish we had more just solid board breakers that encourage people to actually play into boards rather than try to negate openings or have cards like Evenly or Dark Ruler, which are very hit or miss. Like either they're completely insane or they feel like they don't do anything. This card is something that's going to do something basically every time, and it's just a really cool card, unless it gets negated. But I mean, that's a whole another issue then. Yes. Toon has to use the normal summon on Funny Dark Rabbit, so they're unable to use the Gallant Thief. On the other hand, Spatial Trunade is a fantastic addition to the side deck that every deck can run. And Spatial Trunade, I mean, Spatial Trunade is also good against Toon, I would think, because if you see Spatial Trunade in the opponent's hand with the Mind Scan, this is you have to negate this card, because otherwise they will just out your Mind Scan setup, right? So you have to declare this one with Mind Scan or negate it with Toon Terror. So this is, it could be a matter of one of the approaches sometimes that players try to go against Cool Tune is you just try to have so many good cards in hand that they just cannot negate all of them, right? And Spatial Trunade being a must negate for Toon helps you overwhelm them, I guess, if you want to break their board, right? If you have a Spatial Trunade and a Duster and a Lightning Storm, for example, like they just cannot negate all of that to deal with that, right? But then they probably bring out like Spell Canceller or aha. With the rise of board breakers, a Pointer of the Red Lotus, which is at 3 in the OCG, by the way. This is what I mean when I say OCG is literally traditional format. They have 3 A Pointer of the Red Lotus and Mind Crush in the side deck are useful for picking off the opponent's Gallant Thief. Spatial Trunade Anti-Spell Fragrance is also seeing play in the side deck to stop the opponent's Gordian Slicers and Spatial Trunades. So, yeah, this is another thing that, I mean, this is another issue that is even worse in the OCG than it is in the TCG, but one of the biggest things that is stopping people from actually successfully playing board breakers, like board breakers cannot become the norm when we have stuff like searchable anti-spell with stuff like Pharaoh's Advent. I mean, this deck isn't do that, but in the TCG, some decks can do that. Spell Canceller and stuff like that. Like we literally cannot have board breakers be viable as long as those cards exist, because then decks, if people stop playing hand traps, decks will literally just FTK you. There are hand loops out there. There are ways to stop all the spell cards. We just can't have that. So, you know, a Pointer of the Red Lotus. A Pointer of the Red Lotus is a tool that they now use, and honestly, it's shocking to me that this card is at 3 in the OCG. And yeah, I mean that is genuinely crazy. That is crazy. But other than that, Toon has not really changed from the new pack at all. They're playing some Ryzeal cards because why not? There's no locks on the Toons, I don't think. You can just use your normal summon on, or you can just start with X and be fine. Just get some free stuff, and you can even bridge into the Toons with the Alimbertion, but this is not new. We've already looked at that on the last one. Elf Notes. Beyond the Brave gave Elf Note new support cards in the form of Ars Magna. Theorealized Medius could add 1 Ars Magna card from deck to hand. It can also special Deactorus from the extra deck, adding another negation effect to the Elf Note end board, which is exactly what they were missing. This is exactly what Elf Note was missing. I am so happy that the Elf Note players finally have access to another Omni Negate. All right, an opening with prohibited or Power Patron Portal Terminus is as follows. All right, how many steps? I'm not reading all that. 39 plus interruptions. All right, the end board consists of 8 disruptions. Typhframe Lord Omega, random hand rip. Elf Note Tinia, random hand rip. Ars Magna of Infinity, banish a monster. Baron, negate a card or effect. Deactorus, negate a card or effect. Elf Note Rhapsodia of Madness, negate a card your opponent controls. Lucina, bounce a level 6 or lower. Meaty Curious, banish all cards the opponent controls. Yeah, I mean, from one card, by the way. One card, by the way, that's just a spell card they activate for fun. This is double hand loop, triple negate, banish all cards your opponent controls, bounce a card, and banish a card. Which honestly, you could have left off the banish or the bounce or the banish all cards because they don't have cards. Honestly, the Medicurious, the Lucina, and the Ars Magna of Infinity are just here for jokes because they don't have cards. What are you trying to bounce? What are you trying to banish? They got no cards. Literally double hand rip, three Omnis. This is this is an endboard that could easily be from like 2021 or 2022, when the whole meme of every Yu-Gi-Oh endboard is like 5 Omnis. This is like not better than what people were doing around that time, when everyone was doom posting about combo decks, when like everyone was like Appaloosa, Baron, Savage, Omega. Like, this is literally one of the worst things for modern Yu-Gi-Oh if decks keep doing this. The game is unplayable if this happens. You cannot Dark Ruler this because there's a trap negation on here. You have to hand trap it, but you have to hand trap it preferably like instantly, because they are summoning Baron the Fleur very, very early on. I mean, I don't know when this exact combo makes it, but it makes it where's Baron? Here. You make Baron not even a third into the combo is when you make Baron. So the deck is the deck is insulated from hand traps very, very early. Basically, this is a kind of deck where you have to Charmy it, or you have to throw your hand traps at the first starter and hope they can't play. Is literally it. And this is why I was not very happy when I saw the Ars Magna cards. This is going to be like, here's the thing. In the TCG, we don't have Baron, but even if you leave Baron off of this endboard, is still way, 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 way too much. It's actually insane. It is actually insane what is happening there. So yeah, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know why they would add another. And honestly, this deck also play here. You see, this deck gets access to all of the best non-engine in the game as well. This deck still has room because like basically everything is 1-card combos here pretty much to make these boards. So you still get to play 3 of the world's greatest Gallant Thief, because you don't really need your normal summon in Elf Node, all of them special summon. You have room for 6 Charmies. You still have room for Ash, Maxi, and Droll. And you get to do stuff like this. So yeah, have fun. Have fun with that deck in the format. I mean, we're gonna have fun with that too in a moment. Like, yeah. Light and Darkness Ritual, I guess, is the only positive thing about any of this. Light and Darkness Ritual does not use the normal summon. Yeah, and they can use the world's greatest Gallant Thief. So that is a board breaker. So they go down to 1 Celtic Guardian. That makes sense. Other than that, you know, we play the Albaz package here, because that also plays as a special summon, gives us a little bit of pressure. They play the bridge again. And most notably, they play the spell bridge, not the normal summon bridge, which makes sense if you include the Gallant Thief in your deck. Yeah. I mean, this is a relatively cookie cutter deck. Interesting to see that they're playing no Charmies, but they're siding they're siding 7 Charmies. Yeah. I mean, I guess, no, you know, if I was playing a board breaker like this in my deck, I would be trying to play Charmies. Why are they siding a Meowls? I am not sure if Meowls is maybe okay against Elf Nodes. I mean, they have Sterilitzia that revives from grave. They have the Trap that can revive from grave. Sometimes Medius wants to come back from graveyard. The level 10 Synchro can summon 1 from grave. The Ars Magna cards summon themselves back from banished. So yeah, maybe Meowls becomes a solid card against this deck. Also, the Power Patron, the big Power Patron bring 1 back from grave, right? So maybe Meowls is okay. Like, what I'm saying, I think Meowls is not even that great against this deck. But unironically, when decks are this powerful from 1 card, what else are you gonna do, man? You cannot board break this deck. I mean, they play the best board breaker that the game has ever seen in the Gallant dude, and I don't even think it would help against this board. Because, first of all, even if you draw the best board breaker in the game, there's still a chance it gets ripped out of your hand. They rip 2 of your cards. So if you get lucky, you get to keep it. And then you also have to have a way to keep playing. And then they still have more interruptions because you cannot tribute all of this. It's not possible. So it's Charmies are the only thing you have at this point. Which I'm not happy about either. As a defender of the Charmies, I'm still not happy about the fact that we need them to even play the game. I would prefer to play a game in which you didn't need those cards. Trust me. I wish we weren't dependent on them, but if they keep making stuff like that, then there is no way around it. Because how you're not gonna consistently stop this deck. You are not going to consistently stop this deck because every single card here is a high quality starter or high quality extender, pretty much. Like they start with the spell. If you're lucky, you can Ash it. Then they special summon Lucina. You need an answer for that too. If they have Regina in hand or Tinia in hand or the spell in hand or whatever, you need an answer for that too. If they normal summon the Power Patron, have fun trying to Effect Veiler their stuff because they're gonna dodge it. There's literally no way to beat a deck like that consistently going second with negation hand traps. It just does not work. It's not an appropriate solution. So they're siding hella Charmies. The reason why they even main deck these cards is probably because this deck going first, the ceiling is so low that this deck probably just destroys it. Like I've played a lot of Light and Darkness Ritual, and the Elf Note / all the Power Patron decks are really difficult matchups even if you go first, because you simply do not have interruption. You don't have enough interruption for them. The ceiling of these decks is so high that your interruptions are often not enough to stop it. So that's why they're probably maining Ogre, Ash, Veiler, Harmonia, Droll, and Maxi. Not because these cards are actually good going second, because most of the time they're not, except for Maxi probably. But you need them going first because your deck is just... It doesn't hold. It doesn't hold up to the pressure that this deck has. So yeah, it's despair, man. It's despair. It really is despair. It's probably going to be another 9 Charmy format for me, and just pray to God they resolve. Similar to Mind Crush, Prohibition is another option to use against board breakers. For Tune and Cool Tune decks where you can look at your opponent's hand, Prohibition can declare exactly what the opponent has. The card declared with Prohibition cannot be normal summoned, flip summoned, or special summoned, which would disable the opponent's world's greatest Gallant Thief. All right, so some people are playing Prohibition in Cool Tune now. All right, well, yeah, Cool Tune is the Cool Tune players in the Cool Tune deck. I actually do understand not playing any Charmies, because in the Cool Tune deck is the only deck that can probably realistically draw 3 or 4 hand traps, which at that point you have a chance of stopping your opponent. If you're lucky. Honestly, with 3 hand traps, you still have to get lucky, it feels like. But with 4, I guess you can. So the deck is now on 6, 9, 12, 15, 20. Yeah, 20 hand traps. Just half of your deck. So usually you're going to draw 2 or 3. But, I mean, if you get lucky, you can draw 4. So, yeah. Conclusion. Beyond the Brave has moderate impact on the metagame, introducing 2 powerful cards in the Greatest Gallant Thief and Spatial Trunade that promoted a shift towards board breakers and deck building. The current popular strategy is to use Maxi and Charmies to force the opponent into a smaller board that can be broken easier with the Gallant Thief or Spatial Trunade. Beyond the Brave also gave Elf Note a massive boost with the new Ars Magna cards, and that's basically it. China City Tournament will be the first major tournament where Beyond the Brave and Limited Pack GX can be played, but utility selection is not yet allowed. Okay. Yeah. I mean, the thing that stands out to me is this deck in particular. I think it's just disgusting, and honestly, with the only difference between the TCG and the OCG in this sense is that Baron is banned for us, which doesn't make that big of a difference ultimately. I mean, it's important that it's gone, but it doesn't make that much of a difference. And because they just keep making these decks are brutal. These decks are so good, and it's not really like, I see that they're making efforts. I see that they're making an effort of making new core sets less broken, like less game breaking. Like there isn't any completely busted new broken combo deck in Beyond the Brave. Beyond the Brave overall is a cool set, but what happens if you make a cool set and everything else is broken like this? Well, people are just gonna throw like 3 new cards into this deck and call it a day. You cannot unpower creep the game if you've already power crept it in a game without rotation. It doesn't work. You have to hit these decks properly if you want the power level to go down. Otherwise, the new decks are just not gonna see play. Like no new archetype from the new core set even appears in the pie chart. The only thing that's happening is people are adding new cards, like some new cards into the existing decks. Like the impact of this set can be boiled down to like 6 cards from 100 or 80. In the OCG, it's 80, I think. The new Board Breaker has impact, the Spatial Trunade has impact, and the Ars Magna cards have impact, however many those are, 4 or 5 different ones. So literally, the rest of the set might as well not exist because of how powerful Toon and Elf Node are. So, yeah, cool. And that's the OCG right now. And the thing is, the fact that this is not looking great doesn't have that much to do with OCG versus TCG. This is just a general design philosophy thing that combo decks are, I hate to say it, but combo decks are getting out of hand again, just like they did about 5 years ago. And people were ending on end boards that were unfathomable. Like you just cannot possibly play the game against these boards. It's just not possible. Honestly, the best case scenario for us, unironically, I think the best case scenario for us, if it worlds, is just completely dominated by Elf Nodes, which I don't know if it's going to be the case because these cards are not out yet for worlds and Baron is banned at worlds. So I don't know if that's going to be the case, but it would be I'm rooting for, and I hate that I have to say that, but I'm rooting for worlds to just be unwatchable because everyone plays Elf Nodes. And then Elf Nodes wins. Like, because in the finals, it's like an Elf Node mirror, and just whoever wins the coin flip and goes first just FTKs the opponent, and then they are forced to do something about it. Just like how that, you remember that YCS that happened before they banned all the floodgates? That was miserable to watch because everyone was FTKing and floodgating each other. I feel like we need something like that again. I feel like it's time for another tournament that gets completely ruined by these cards, just so that, you know, we have a valid reason to crash out again, and then they actually have to do something about it. Because like, if the World Championship Finals looks like that, I feel like they would do something about it. I feel like they would be forced, because from all the backlash that would happen, and because a lot of people watch the World Championship and it doesn't provide a good look on the game. Like, as much as I would hate to sit here and just watch Elf Node mirrors all day, I kind of hope it's happening for Worlds. I kind of hope. Like, if you're watching this and you're playing the World Championship, please bring Elf Nodes. Please bring Elf Nodes and play as many floodgates as you can.